Hi everyone, it's Fatmanan here. Welcome to Growing with Fatmanan. This is where I talk about my whole journey of growth and life in general. And I talk about topics that have to do with our everyday living. And today I want to talk about the whole concept of doing things right, doing things properly, and perfectionism. There's a growing claim by people for being perfectionists today, and everybody would like to address another person as a perfectionist, and we will want to be known as perfectionists in some way. And there's how it goes now that we all see perfectionism as a very good thing. Yeah, in the real sense, getting things done right and properly is a very good thing, but the whole idea of perfectionism goes against the whole concept of growth, because perfectionism means at the word go, everything has to be equal, everything is right, and there's no room for error, for mistakes and failure. And life is not like that. When you plant a seed, let's say a mango tree, a mango seed, right? You don't wake up after 1 week and that seed has just become a full tree bearing fruit and all that, right? It takes a particular time of growth where it seems like that tree is not bearing any fruit, and that whole process of growth is part of the process of that tree reaching to the point to get fruit, it will bear fruit. But perfectionism says that everything should be equal, and it's just like in secondary school. Back then in school, in mathematics, we had marks for process, and most times the final answer on a question is usually about 10 to 20% of the whole marks allocated for that question. And we have process from marks for your methods, your process, each step of the way when you solve a particular question in mathematics. And sometimes you can miss the final answer, but the whole method you followed was correct, and you might get more than half of the marks, and you pass the particular question because of the effort and the process you went through. And the whole idea of perfectionism goes against that, and many people try to be perfect these days, and it brings frustration when you try to be perfect and you ignore process and effort and the method in which you get a final product, because you get. And I believe perfectionism is one of the major causes of depression and frustration in our current age. And we have social media as a very huge contributing factor, because what we usually put up on social media is just a particular moment, a particular final product that we capture and put it, and it stays for a long period of time, and everybody can see it and might tend to believe that that's our reality, that's our constant experience. And if you are not mentally strong enough to understand that what we have is just moments, many people will be trying to make their reality and their experience other people's moment. And that's what the whole idea of this perfectionism, coming out all right, all 100%, and most times it has to do with self. It's not really about getting something right in and of itself. It's mostly about how I look, how people look at me. And when we look at life like that, we'll always be frustrated with the product of whatever we get, right? So I would like everybody to try to work on making efforts and giving yourself grace, right? To be able to have room for making mistakes and failures, and understand that if you don't get it right now, you can get it right tomorrow. And all this I'm saying doesn't mean that we should erase or ignore the fact that there are certain things that need to be done perfect, right? Yes, but when we talk about perfection, we talk about a team. An individual cannot be perfect. And when we talk about a team, it means that if I get this aspect right, the aspect I don't get right, another person can get it right. Just like how it works, for example, in the hospital, we have doctors, we have nurses, and we have pharmacists and other health workers, right? There are some certain things that the doctor knows about drugs. They read about drugs. Even nurses too read about drugs, about the human anatomy. Even pharmacists too read about that. And why do they do that? So that on their own end, a doctor might have a certain labs. Yes, of course, they have their whole hierarchy, but there are some certain things that the nurse might see that might open or bring to the observation of the doctor that, come on, look at this, you didn't get it right, or why is this so, right? The pharmacist will look at it, and likewise, and that's how you have everything going right, because you have a lot of people involved. So perfection is more of a teamwork than an individual work. And I believe that when we live life like that, because of course, when you have a whole research center that they are into all these infectious diseases and all that, of course you need to be perfect round the clock, making sure that nothing escapes. And there are a lot other things in life that we need to be perfect in. But if you look at most of those things, it works with a team, that everybody is playing a particular role, not one person doing everything. And that's how we are meant to look at life and getting things done. And when we look at things with this perspective, we will be able to give ourselves more grace and have a better understanding on getting things done properly and right, versus the whole idea of being a perfection and perfectionism, right? And that's what I have to say today. And I'll love it if you can drop comments, share, and watch my other videos. Just share your thoughts. Of course, it's about growth. We learn from each other, and that's my message for today. Thank you, and have a nice day. Peace.